Okay, looks like I am live, and I wanted to come on here and do a live reaction stream, which I haven't done in several days. And I wanted to continue this sort of series that I started with the last reaction live stream, which was that I was going to react to activists that had been recommended to me by other activists. So when I interview someone, ordinarily I also ask them like, "What are some of the things?" How you doing, Carrie? Nice to see you. Ordinarily, I usually ask them, "What are some of the things that inspire you?" Be they books or whatever. And also, especially to the activists who are on YouTube, I like to ask them, "What are some of the other channels that I should be watching?" Some of the activists that I should see. And the name Militant Vegan has come up several times. And I already knew about the Militant Vegan because she had this epic clash with Shawn Baker, which was so entertaining. And so I understand that people have already done loads of reaction videos to this debate, but I want to do it too because it seems like it's going to be so much fun. Um, just so good, so good. Such a great debate performance, I think. And I have to preface this by saying that I am not one of those debate people. I don't know the ins and outs of debating. I've had loads of debates, but not like formal debates. So I don't know, like just getting that out of the way. I am not one of those like really schooled in debates. So I'm just going to be talking more about like the substance of what she's saying rather than like the debate tactics, so to speak. And also just about, just kind of reveling in it because I thought it was so amazing. So anyway, I know I'm late to the game, but this is going to be fun to react to. All right, let me go ahead. Yo, Kane, how are you doing? Nice to see you. I saw you over in the AAC stream too. You're hopping, huh? You're doing some hops. Um, yeah, AAC, Animal Activism Collective, was just doing a live stream with Chris Caraway, who is an incredible lawyer out of Denver, um, one of the great animal rights lawyers. So check that out. If you haven't seen that, that should become a video, I'm sure, that you can watch back. Um, but Animal Activism Collective, who deserves like huge accolades and huge shout outs, they've just been doing so much, so much. And so many of the wins that we've accumulated over the past couple of years, be they on fur or foie gras, really have a lot to do with AAC and CAFT. So those two groups, the Coalition to Abolish the Fur Trade and Animal Activism Collective, which has recently been renamed from Animal Activism Mentorship. When they started as this group that was mentoring activists and have since sort of morphed into being, their name basically better encompasses what they are because they're not just a mentorship program for activists. All right, let me do the screen share and I'm going to say it again as I always do. I'm new to this, so bear with me. Um, so this debate, make sure that's on the screen. Looks good, I think. Let me know how the sound is too, guys, when I start the video. But so anyway, I became an instant fan of hers after watching this debate. I can't remember when this came out. Let's see. Let me back up and see. When was this? 7 months ago. So it is a little old at this point, but just one of those such great entertainment moments, right, guys? Like looking around, like making some dinner, you want to watch something, and you just go on YouTube, and this thing pops up in your feed, and it was just popcorn, popcorn moment. Where's my popcorn? Oh my god, I need a prop, which is popcorn, guys. Wait, I'll be right back. Hang on. All right, I'm back. Got my skinny pop. Everybody get your popcorn. Because this is going to be entertaining. I haven't watched this in 7 months or so, or whenever this came out. I have watched it several times, I think. She disagreed with vegan games about horse riding, then VG did sparkly eyes at her, so she flipped and now agrees with VG. Yeah. Huh. Interesting. Yeah. I'm not about horse riding. That's just me. But I do appreciate the work that she did in this debate. All right, let's take a look. I agree, Carrie. Stop riding horses.
Today we have an interesting guest. This is Rafaela.
Oh, before we get started, okay, Rafaela. I had forgotten her actual name, Rafaela. Yeah, before we begin, do y'all know this guy? That's Shawn Baker. I only know him, as you mentioned, Vegan Gains, because Vegan Gains reacts to a lot of that kind of stuff. Oh God, I'm getting the glitch already? Damn. Dear Lord. Okay, I only know him. I'm telling you guys, I'm gonna have to get like a new kind of stream thing, because this is not it. But anyway, so yeah, I only know him from watching Richard's content because he reacts to a lot of these carnivore people. But anyway, let's take a look.
The Militant Vegan, and I guess Rafael, I guess let me ask you, what is your hope to have with this discussion? As you know, I'm not a vegan, obviously, and currently you are. And so what do you hope to achieve today?
Yeah, my hope to achieve with my activism in general is to make people aware of the plight that animals go through, the animal holocaust that is going on, the ethical rights violations in treating animals as objects that we would never do upon humans. We treat animals as if they are simply commodities, and that is not okay. And I would like to awaken you, and especially the people listening to this debate later on, to your contradictory stance in using animals as slaves when you would never do that to humans. I, as an animal rights activist, see veganism as our moral baseline and animal rights as the logical extension to human rights.
I love that. He's got this shirt on that says, "No one is coming to save you." Well, like, animal rights activists are coming to save you, hopefully, if you're an animal. Okay, I'm going to have to jump back and forth to get to the comments now because of this stupid thing. I didn't even get the comment up. The glitching. I got the glitching going on. Anyway, y'all don't care. Let's go ahead.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, and I certainly understand your point. I think so, and I know there's I can see the perspective for sure. Let me ask you a question. Why do you think all humans aren't vegan? What do you think's going on with that? Why haven't we? I mean, humans have been on the planet, arguably, Homo sapiens 200,000 years, humans 3 million years. We've hunted animals. We knew we were killing them the whole time. I mean, it wasn't like it's new. I mean, we've always known we've killed animals. We've always chosen to eat them. We developed agriculture 12,000 years ago. We had the option maybe to go vegan back then, perhaps.
By the way, I noticed this about myself too. What he just did was ask a question and then kind of ramble for a long time. That's not a criticism of Shawn, but kind of, because I do it too. I realize that when I listen back to my interviews, I'm like, I've asked the question and then I go on to like say, because, blah, 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 blah. I guess it gives a person a chance to formulate their opinion, right? So there's that. But yeah, she's just kind of waiting to answer now because he's asked the question, why don't you think everybody's a vegan? What an insightful question there to ask, Shawn. Gee, I wonder why. Might be because of people like you and others who just can't really use this part of their body. Every other part seems to be okay, I guess, but this part something going on in there that's not right.
And yet we continue to do that. And even today, 97 to 99% of the people in the world still continue to eat meat. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, so you as a doctor know that we are opportunistic omnivores, and we have always been that way. So when times were rough, we have been eating more meat, since vegetables and grains couldn't grow as well, and vice versa. And our dietary tract has evolved in a way that we can take nutrition from dead animal bodies and their excretions, but also from plant-based diets. So why isn't the world vegan is asking a question like, why is the world still racist? Why don't all women have rights? It's an evolving and an interference of tradition, of habit, of culture, of fascism. People want to be part of a group. People don't want to reflect what they've done, the mistakes that they have done upon others, and they don't want to be like the mirror of guilty conscience to their friends and family. It's very uncomfortable to learn that you have been growing up with a lie, that the whole system of our society fundamentally stands on animal slavery. And it's weird to realize that you two are petting dogs but shooting cows in the head, even though there is no ethically significant difference between these two groups of animals, and it's nothing else but racism. So it really is a matter of moral awakening that we have to put through the masses to show them that speciesism, so the slavery of animals, is nothing else than the slavery of humans used to be. And
I love that she brought props to show too for this. And so far she's just killing it. It's this is such a thorough answer to a pretty absurd and ridiculous question. I mean, I guess the question's fine, but she's really answered it very well.
And therefore, the same question I can ask in any other form of moral success story, moral plight that we've been going through, discrimination. Why have we been using Black people as slaves? Why are we now using animals as slaves? Where is the ethically significant difference that you would say, okay, this would probably be wrong, but we still do it with cows? It's a societary mistake that you are taking part in. So I would like to ask you at this point, Shawn, where is the ethically significant difference that allows putting cows in chains and using them as slaves, but not humans?
Great question. She spun it back around on Shawn. And so I think from my recollection, from this point onward, he's pretty much on the defensive, which is really well done. I believe it also comes out during this interview, and I haven't watched a ton of Rafaela's content, but I think it comes out during this interview that she herself is from the medical system in some manner, like a doctor or nurse or something, but she's very, very sharp, if that hasn't already been made clear.
Okay, well, that's quite a mouth. That's quite a bit there. Well, I mean, first of all, I mean, I know you said racism, and you I guess you correctly said speciesism, I suppose. Just to be clear, I mean, all races have been enslaved. I mean, there were white slaves, Black slaves, Chinese slaves, Japanese.
Yes,
slaves.
that's true.
Slavery has not been unique to any particular and perpetrator. I mean, everyone has enslaved everyone, so that's pretty clear.
Yes.
Well, let me just sort of answer your question, perhaps with a question. So, if for instance,
not a great start. Not a great start. You could probably just answer her question without asking another question. I could see she did a little bit of an eye roll there. Let me see.
Sort of answer your question, perhaps with a question. So if for instance,
slight one.
Well, I mean, do you feel there's any appreciable difference between a human and an animal?
Of course, there's differences, just as there are differences between you and me. You're a strong, heavy man. I am a female.
Well, Carrie, you know, you're not going to agree with everybody on everything. I think, if you don't agree with somebody on like one thing, I don't think that's a reason to not like them anymore. That's just my opinion, though. But, you're certainly well within your rights to watch whoever you want to watch. Does she make more money on OnlyFans? Well, I'm sure she's still doing tons of activism, probably a good way to fund it, I assume.
but none of these differences are ethically significant in the question of who I may use as object. We are both people who have the right not to be enslaved. So why doesn't a cow have that right?
Okay, but I mean, ultimately, we're talking about life and death here. So let me just pose this question to you. If you were driving down the highway at a high speed and you just happen to notice that there were two.
So why can't he just answer the question? Well, we know why, but he keeps on trying to turn it. But let's proceed.
Creatures sitting in the road. One's a small child and one is a bunny rabbit, and you have to swerve one way or the other. Is there anything that compels you to swerve?
No, Carrie, I'm against horse riding, but I also don't know a ton about it. But I don't think it's a good thing to do. That's me.
Swerve one way or the other. Are you just blindly whichever way I goes, whatever happens, or would you intently miss the child and kill the rabbit?
Yeah, so a couple of things. First of all, I would like the audience to know that Shawn has evaded my question of asking for the ethically significant difference so far, but we still have. You haven't yet answered that. I will come back to it. I just want to let you know that you have dodged the question so far.
Point taken. I've evaded so far, but I want to get
all right. I just wanted to hold that for everyone.
It's good to point that out to the audience. Yep, he's evading. He's evading. I will answer your stupid question, Shawn, but you're evading my question.
And just so we don't lose the string of thought here. The second part is I will answer this question, but before I answer it, I would like to state that this is a false dichotomy when it comes to discussing veganism, because in my everyday life, I don't have to decide would I rather eat the bunny rabbit or the human baby. I can decide.
I don't agree with riding horses, Carrie, but I still support them. Yeah, because again, I don't have to agree with every position that they take for me to support them. I support both Richard and Militant Vegan. I like them both. They're not for everybody. I know that. We've talked about that, you and I as well. I understand that there are some people who don't like the approach of, especially vegan gains. I understand that there are people who think that even Militant Vegan might be too aggressive in some ways, but I think they add a lot of value and they definitely get the conversation going, which is a good starter for sure.
Decide to send neither to the slaughterhouse. So this isn't the question that I'm asking people to decide to rather slaughter the human. I am asking you, why shouldn't we just not slaughter both? That is the question. However, if I am fair enough, I will engage with this moral experiment. It really depends on the individual. So if, for example, the baby is baby Hitler and the other is an innocent baby rabbit, I would swerve towards baby Hitler and fucking massacre that baby, because that would probably stop him from killing all the Jews and doing the Holocausty stuff, you know? So it depends on the individual. If we have a vegan world, and I know in the hypothetical scenario that you're bringing me here, that this baby will grow up to be the most effective vegan activist, stopping hypocrites like you from slaughtering baby cows, and the bunny is just a bunny in quotes, then I would swerve and kill the bunny. But we can play with all these levers, have a 99-year-old with cancer, human on one side, and a little dog. And I think even most humans who have never engaged with this line of questioning with veganism as an ethical stance would probably save the little dog instead of the 99-year-old who will die the next day from cancer, who isn't even sentient anymore since cancer has eaten up their.
I actually disagree with that. I don't think they would. I think most people would say, I will save the person over the animal. Yeah, but
brain. So like I said, we can play this game. It depends on the individual. It does not depend on the species, but on the characteristics that come with the individual in this line of questioning. However, like I said, this is not the dichotomy that we are facing in everyday life. We don't have to go to the supermarket and decide, will I shoot the cow or will I shoot the human? We don't. Why are you shooting cows if you would never shoot humans? That is the question, which leads us back to the question that you've dodged before. Where's the ethically significant difference between humans and animals that allows holocausting animals but not doing the same thing to humans?
Do you think he's going to answer? I can't remember. Does he try? Does he attempt an answer? I can't remember. But I don't think he does. Let's see.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, in the split second it takes you to swerve, you're not going to know if it's Hitler or if it's 99
dodge
like that. But I mean, so I mean, there's some sort of intrinsic gut.
Yeah, so you dodge. Sure, you're dodging. Are you gonna answer, or are you dodging, or are you gonna answer?
No, okay. So just restate your question so I can.
Yeah. So where's the ethically significant difference between humans and non-human animals that allows enslaving, raping, and holocausting animals, but not humans? Where is the ethically significant difference?
Okay, well, I will say, what is ethically different that I would kill and eat an animal and not a human, right? That's I guess that's the basis.
Yeah, that's the question. Yeah.
Fair? I think humans and animals are different. I think they're
right. Shawn.
She's like already had it up to here with him. It's like talking to a child.
That is not answering the question what the exact difference is, the ethically significant difference is. Like I said, and I think anybody who's watching this video can say, you are a man, you have great broad shoulders. Wow, he's wearing a t-shirt with this kind of text. I'm wearing a t-shirt with that. I have funny little ears on my head. We have differences, you and me, right? But we also have similarities. We have stuff in common. Like if I punch you, you would probably say, ow. If somebody punches me, I would probably say, ow. We don't want to hurt. We both feel the same way. One could metaphorically say, we all bleed the same color. So the reason we give human rights is not because we have exactly the same skin color, you and me, or because we have the same heritage or we speak the same language, but because we realize that humans and not depending on these characteristics that are obviously not significant, the skin color, the culture, the sex, have a right not to be enslaved. Now, if we give that right, no matter the sex, no matter the height, no matter the skin color, why wouldn't we give that right? Just because they are born in a different species, when the trait that is important is if they feel, right? So where's the ethically significant difference?
Really? That's where we're going, Shawn? How do you know they feel? Well, okay. How do I know you feel? Okay, because maybe if someone was going to punch you, right, you might do that, or you might go, like kind of like if you were to do that to an animal, they would yelp if they were a dog, right? Or cower or try to get away. That's how we know, Shawn. I know you're not the brightest guy, Shawn. I know that. I'm grading you on a curve. But I think you know that. I think you're playing dumb. I know it's not hard for you, but you are playing dumb, I believe.
How do you know they feel?
Do you have Shawn?
That sort of thing.
We're gonna take a breather now because you're calling into question if animals that you eat feel. I would just before you go on making yourself to a full-on.
Okay, let me answer your question. Not as negative as you might think, simply trying to figure out how to reconcile it in my mind. I'm too head choppy, I know, but I don't know how people can support people who ride horses. Does that mean you support? No, I don't support horse riding. Like I said, I don't have to agree with every position of vegan gains or militant vegan to support them as a whole. I've actually disagreed with quite a bit of vegan gains over the years, but I still value a lot of his content, and I appreciate sort of his honest approach is kind of where I stand on that. With regards to horse riding, I have heard him explain. So I have seen this. I have seen him talk about horse riding and why, in his view, it's okay. And his explanation was something along the lines of the horses, they need to be exercised or something. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't buy it. But it's just, again, it's just not that I have to agree with 100% of what someone says. I disagree with Wayne constantly. In fact, like you might even consider my role on the team is like the person who is disagreeing. To me, it's like somewhat exhausting. But anyway, I love Wayne. I disagree with him on a lot of things. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you and I mean, Carrie, you and I are disagreeing a little bit. I still love you. I still support you. So there's no, yeah, it's just that's how I operate. Like, just because I disagree with someone on something doesn't mean I end my support of them. If they were like ex-vegans or something like that, I would not support them. But I do think maybe we're talking about a slight gray area. I don't know. Yeah, I really don't know. I haven't like I haven't spent much time around horses. I think that riding them is a form of exploitation and keeping them is a form of exploitation. But in that same sense, I kind of feel like keeping dogs is a form, like sometimes it's good to keep, to rescue dogs, right? But sometimes you have to put a dog on a leash so that they don't run off and hurt themselves. I think that's in their best interest. But with dogs, like I find that a little uncomfortable. Like I was watching a friend's dog, and of course I didn't want the little pup to get hurt. So of course I put him on a leash. But I don't love that I have a dog on a leash and that he's not completely free to do whatever it is that he wants to do. So that to me is kind of one of those things. So it may be similar in the case of horses that, okay, we have the horses and the horses do need to be exercised. I'm not sure. I don't have any experience with horses, honestly. Something about it doesn't feel right to me, but they know more about it than I do. And I know how ethical they try to approach these topics. So I don't know. But even if I came down on the side that I disagree with them, I still support them as activists and very confrontational, in your face advocates for animals.
Clown, we are making
ethics.
Are you seriously
ethics?
calling into question that the dogs that you have that snuggle up on your lap, that they feel?
No, I'm not asking if they can feel pain or sense things.
Well, no, you did. You said, how do you know they feel? That's what you said, Shawn. So yes, you are. Now you're walking it back because she just made a fool of you. But that's going to happen a lot, I think, in the next 50 minutes of this debate. So I guess we should get used to that. Get your popcorn, people.
All things can, even plants can.
No, plants can. They have no central nervous system. We have no reason to believe that just because something reacts to stimuli, just like your phone does, Shawn, can therefore have sentience, have desires, have interest. But even if you want to call that into question, if plants feel, that is no reason to put animals into slaughterhouses when you would never do that to humans. Now, please, let's not call into question if your dogs can feel or if the cows that you put in your face hole can feel, because I believe that they do. Now, where's the ethically significant difference?
But don't give them too much credit now, Rafaela. I mean, I think that too, but are we overestimating Shawn? Look, he's struggling. He's trying. You can see it in his face.
It's between a feeling cow and a feeling dog or a feeling human that you might eat the one but not the other.
So obviously animals eat other animals, and I'm sure you've been posed this before. And why don't those animals care? Why don't they care?
So you're dodging the question?
No, I'm just asking.
So you're dodging the question?
I'm very happy to eat animals. I'm very happy.
So you're dodging the question, Shawn. We're not gonna. This is not gonna work if you're simply dodging my question. I answered your questions. I went down your hypothetical, even if it made no sense. I answered your false dichotomy. I did. I gave a lot of explanation to that. So now stop dodging the question. You promised me at the beginning that you will not dodge this question. Where is the ethically significant difference between a cow and a human that justifies killing them but not them? Where's the difference?
Yeah, please tell us the difference, Shawn, because she has asked this question of you, I believe, 3-4 times now.
There's a difference. Well, animals are clearly different than humans.
Where is the
ethically? A cow is different than a pig.
You are different than me, Shawn. We are different. Can I eat you just because you're different? A woman is different from a man. A black person is different from a white person. Can I eat black people now?
Well, the difference is significant enough to me personally that I'm comfortable eating them.
Okay, Shawn, I'm gonna mirror your logic
now. That's ever walked the planet.
Shawn, I'm gonna mirror your logic now. Okay, hear me out. Hear me out. I'm gonna be here
Tell me how many humans.
He still didn't answer what is the significant difference. All he said was they are different enough to me that I'm comfortable eating them. But he still has not answered the question of what is that difference that justifies killing and eating them.
And yeah, I'm gonna say, Shawn, I am eating black people. I am getting them all stuffed into these concentration camps, and I'm taking away their titty milk after putting my arm into their rectum to impregnate them with a rod into her vagina, and then I'm stealing her child from the black woman, and I'm stealing that milk that comes out of those juicy tits, and I'm also taking the eggs from the male black people, and then I'm slicing them up in the Holocaust chambers after gassing them like 40 million pigs alone in Germany every year, or I'm shooting a bolt in their head and I'm gonna eat black people. Would you stop me?
Well, that's illegal. That's
would you,
illegal,
Shawn?
right? Yes, I would. Yes, I would, because I.
This is not a legality debate. This is a morality debate. Okay,
right?
So you would stop me from eating black people?
Well, I don't know if I would, but I suspect it would be stopped because
you
illegal,
would at least,
right?
okay. You would at least, if you had the choice.
I would support you being stopped doing that.
Okay, yes, awesome. Okay.
Wow, we got an answer to a question, like an actual answer. All right.
So now I'm gonna mirror your logic, and I'll ask you how that feels.
Animals are different than people.
Now I say, but so Shawn, listen up. The black people, for me personally, there's a difference because they have a different color skin. You understand? And that difference, for me personally, is large enough to justify enslaving and eating them. Does that make much sense in your ears?
With regard from one person eating another person? No, not. Okay. You know, no, I mean, obviously it's happened.
But that's exactly what you did. She just threw your scenario right back in your face, Shawn. But he's not getting it. Like he's not sharp. She is sharp. He's not sharp. This is lopsided.
I used your logic. I used your speciesist logic, and
you use racist logic.
Exactly. That's exactly the point that I'm trying to make. Speciesism is racism towards animals. You know,
Doggo. You just popped in right at that moment. Nice to see you, Doggo. Thanks, guys, for tuning into this stream. If you're just joining, I know this is an old one that a lot of people have reacted to, but a lot of people have recommended Militant Vegan to me, and I wanted to continue on this sort of like little series that I'm doing of reacting to content that other activists have suggested that I look at these channels. So Militant Vegan was suggested to me by several people. I watched this back when it came out. It was amazing, but I wanted to react to it because it's so much fun. Doggo, get your popcorn. I got my skinny pop here. I'm not even going to have too much to add to this one because what can you even say? Like, just watching her do her thing. I have to pause, though, every now and then and say something to actually make this a reaction video. Otherwise, we're just sitting here and I'm not adding any value. But there's not a shit ton that I can add to this.
A sexist says, oh, it's just a woman or it's just a man. It goes in all direction. Racist says, oh, it's just a black person, like I just did with your logic. And a speciesist like Shawn Baker, like you, says, oh, it's just a non-human animal. Oh, but we can't eat your dogs, right? No, Shawn wouldn't eat his little woofy woofs. He loves his woofy woofs. But the pig and the cow, bah, they're just fucking slaves. They're different enough for me.
Let me put up. Hang on. I would eat a dog. I would eat my dog if I was forced to.
But you know, look, this is not a question of if I was forced. If I was forced,
this is another dodge. You know, like an attempt at a dodge from Shawn, saying, "No, I would eat my dog," but you know, that's not the scenario we're in. I'm sure she's about to point that out.
to, I would eat you even though you look disgusting. If I was forced to, I would eat black people even though I'm not a racist. But this is not a question. You know, you're opening up a false. You're opening up. This is an appeal to an emergency situation that you're making right now. We are not in this emergency situation.
I heard what you said there, Shawn. Hang on, back up.
An emergency.
You said,
if I was forced to, I would eat black people even though I'm not a racist. But this is not a question. You know, you're opening up a false. You're opening up. This is an appeal to an emergency.
But fortunately, we have cows to eat, so we don't have to eat the dogs. That's what Shawn just said. Shawn, get you a bag of Skinny Pop. You won't have to eat any dogs. Trust me. No dogs are being consumed in this household. All thanks to Skinny Pop. Skinny Pop, sponsor me. Let's do that. You're getting a lot of shout outs here. And what does that say? There's a little V on that bag, Shawn. You see it? It says vegan. Popcorn, sunflower oil, and salt. I'm sure that seed oil is going to put you off, but anyway. Let's continue.
Emergency situation that you're making right now. We are not in this emergency situation. Nobody's forcing you to go into the supermarket and eat your dog or eat your cow. You are choosing, you're even paying money for a system of slavery and racism, of speciesism. Now, why would you do that to animals but not to humans? And better question yet, why would you only do that to the livestock but not to your little doggos? Where's the ethically significant difference between these groups?
No,
I don't think she's necessarily intentionally doing this, but she's almost talking to him like he's a little kid. And I love it. Stylistically, she's just like very in control. And she calls him out every time he dodges one of her questions. She's answered all of his, and she's trying to hold him to answering her questions, but he's just doing such a poor job of it. Let's hear him.
I think there's an ethical significant difference. I think there's a practicality.
But this is an ethical question.
Hang on, Raphael. Let me answer because you're no one can hear. I mean, it doesn't do any good if we shout over each other.
No, it does. It does. It's great entertainment if she shouts over you, Shawn. And she doesn't have the luxury that I have of pausing you. Oh, man. Rafaela, I bet you wish you could have paused him at times during this debate. It's nice to have that power.
I think that the reason I don't eat my dog is, well, I like my dog and he's useful. He has a use to me outside of the food.
Right, because it's about you.
He's alerts things. I mean, you think about it. Why did humans adopt animals as dogs?
Imagine if you were poor Shawn Baker's dog and you could understand English and you overheard him saying, yeah, I don't eat my dog because my dog is useful to me. Like, God, you'd be like, let me hope that I don't ever become not useful to Shawn. He'll just kill and eat me.
Companion animals, they helped us to hunt for one. They're very, very good at hunting. That's why we had a symbiotic relationship with dogs. So there's that. Let me further finish the point. So dogs, you know, in many ways, you know, are not ideally suited for producing meat, right? I mean,
that's not true.
There are better choices. They don't grow as fast. They don't provide as much meat. It may not taste as well. Although I've heard some people say dog is
that's delirious. That's delirious.
No, it's the truth. That's
Shawn. Have you ever seen a dog? Like you said, you have a dog. You eat chicken, right, Shawn? Have you seen a chicken versus a dog? Which one do you think has more meat? You know? Shawn, you're such a clown, man. What happened to you? Like, I mean, how do you become like this? Like, what happens to someone in their life that they go down this path? Like, it's one thing you eat animals, okay? That's a normal society thing. You haven't thought about it or whatever. How do you become this guy who like promotes eating animals? I don't know what has to go wrong in your life to do that. I haven't experienced anything like that. It must be horrible.
That's the realities of agriculture.
Well, no. Well, they have so many dogs. I mean, you probably have heard of the dog meat festival. So a big room of Asia and even in Switzerland would beg to differ on the question if dogs are meaty or not. And I guess the usual dog has more meat.
I mean, there's people that eat guinea pigs and rabbits and things like that.
Anyways,
and there's people that eat crabs, and there's people that eat shellfish, and there's people that eat all kinds of things.
Dear Shawn, you will not.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. There's people that eat oysters and things like which how much meat do you think an oyster has versus a dog, Shawn?
Tell me here. So you said for the name the trait argument, name the ethically significant trait where you're not eating your dogs, but you are eating cows and other animals. You said because you like them and they're useful. Now I, mirroring your logic once again, say, I don't like you, Shawn. I don't like your whole family. I don't like all these people, and they're not useful for me. Might as well put them in a slaughterhouse and butcher them up. Is that okay for you?
Well, wouldn't be okay. I mean, you can try.
Would that be okay? Yes or no? Would that be okay? Yes or no?
Not for me. No,
okay, so you have a contradiction, right? You have a contradiction here, right?
Did you ask a dog and ask them what they thought about that?
Shawn, do you realize that you have a contradiction here? If you say that the trait that allows you to eat other animals because they're not likable by you and they're not useful to you, and I take that trait away from other beings, like humans, for example, that would allow me, mirroring your logic, to eat and enslave these beings, these human beings, because I don't like them and they're not. And you said no, so you have a contradiction here. You realize that?
I draw the line in human species, right?
But you have.
Oh wait, but you didn't say species. Now the trait is species, and we've seen this. I don't know if you guys watch debate content, if you guys watch people running Name the Trait, it always makes it back to species eventually.
Okay, but you realize
you're good. I'm not going to eat you outside.
Shawn, that is a new trait. A new trait has entered the chat. Welcome, new trait. It's the human species trait. Okay, so first of all, we can together realize now, and the audience too, that liking and usefulness is not an ethically significant difference to eat the one but not the other. I think we have.
Who says that? Who says that? Why?
You yourself have just now said.
You
yourself have just now.
It's a very appropriate thing for an animal.
Yeah, you yourself.
So humans are a different species. That's the species I am. I am morally and ethically against eating humans. I am not morally and ethically against eating animals.
Right. I know. That's Shawn.
Shawn, have you would think, like, if you're about to debate this topic, you would think that you'd watch some of the previous debates. Like, he had just previously debated, I think this was his second debate. He had debated Nutrivore and James Aspie on this topic. I believe that was what happened. I can't remember that debate that well. I assume they did some kind of name the trait argument as well. So it's like, maybe they didn't. As I recall, that was a very rushed debate that he gave him like a short amount of time for. It got derailed, it ended, whatever. I don't think it was super productive. But you would think that he would have watched some like debates already. Maybe he would have checked out her content, and I don't know. Has she done other debates? I mean, she's done street debates, I know. But he's acting like he's new to this. Like, Shawn, come on now. We expect better from you. Actually, I'm sorry. We expect nothing from you. And that's exactly what we got.
Majority of humans have ever walked this planet, right?
Shawn, that is the reason why we're here. I don't know if you have noticed, but that is the whole question of the debate that you just phrased in a sentence. Why you would eat the one but not the other. So yes, I realize that you're against eating humans, but for eating animals, for some at least. We know that already, but never mind. You can catch up a bit later. So we have together realized that liking and usefulness alone is not an ethically significant trait to eat the one but not the other.
Who says?
Because you have run into a contradiction because you wouldn't allow me to eat humans that I don't like and are not useful to me.
You're asking me why I would eat a cow and not a dog.
Yeah,
humans
exactly.
are a different story. It's totally different. I can.
Well, no, Shawn. The way she framed it was correct. And yes, now you're bringing it to the dog and the cow question, which you don't really have a good answer for except selfish reasons, which she's already debunked. She's already debunked the usefulness to me as being a morally justifiable trait, or a trait that would morally justify doing something horrible to somebody, basically. So she's already done this. Now you're spinning. But again, because something up here isn't spinning, now we have to all spin with you.
But that was your ethically significant difference between pets and humans. So,
oh my
sorry,
God,
pets
Felix.
and livestock. So
she would destroy Neil deGrasse Tyson. Neil deGrasse Tyson somehow comes across dumber than this guy. I cannot believe that people think that's a smart. That is not a smart guy. He did some, like, look, people go into college, they get into college and then they can remember enough to do well on the tests, and then they end up in a good position. That guy has no critical thinking skills. My God, we'll have to react to some Neil deGrasse Tyson fails. What are some good ones? Oh, he had a good conversation with Humane Hancock. That was embarrassing. Who else did he talk to? I don't know. He's made a fool of himself. God. Back in the day, I would have thought, oh, that must be a smart guy, rocket scientist, right? Oh, God. Nice to see you, Felix. Wait. Okay, hang on. Okay, there we go.
So that would have to apply to humans too. Right. Okay, so I can ask you the bigger picture again. The bigger picture.
Humans are unique.
Okay.
Right?
How are they?
We alone can rationalize, right? That would be your.
Not all humans.
That's why you accept a lion eats a zebra. You're okay with that.
I'm not okay with that.
A lion doesn't have enough conscious.
No, I'm not okay. I'm not okay with that.
Do, right?
Yeah.
You're not okay with lions eating zebras?
No, but you had this exact same discussion. You had this exact same discussion. No, I would stop the lion from eating the zebra if I could.
How would you do that?
Yeah.
He knows that this will be like, a way of making the vegan look crazy. But he's trying to direct the conversation in a direction. And it sounds to me like this is where the debate had gone before with Nutrivore and James Aspie, back to like killing carnivores. He's trying to take it there. But I think let's see if she keeps it on track.
That is not the question. This is a moral. This is a moral debate. I cannot, but I would if I could. But right now, I can stop this lion in front of the microphone from murdering cows. So yeah, because you're a dogmatic who doesn't listen to rational arguments, which comes back to you said humans can rationalize, so it's not okay to eat humans, but it is okay to eat animals. Now, if your ethically significant difference between humans and other animals is because humans can think rationally, then I could be eating you because you can't think rationally. Now, may I send all other people like
Felix? I agree. Yeah, I love the people that he was talking to. And it may be that they're like, I've got Neil deGrasse Tyson. He's a big name. Trying to keep it friendly. I realize there are conflicting things going on in someone's head at that time. So not too much criticism there. However, yeah, people need to push back on his ridiculous arguments. What does he always bring up, Neil deGrasse Tyson, when he's caught? He even wrote a chapter about this, apparently. He wrote it in his book. Of course, I didn't get it. I'm not going to support that guy. But he wrote a chapter that was talking about, like, if you have a mouse in your basement, and he loves to bring this up like it's a big gotcha. Like, if you have a mouse in your basement, I guess the point that he's trying to make is that the humane thing to do for the mouse will be to let the mouse live in your basement. Oh yeah, Kane, when you cut a tree, does it not bleed? Yeah, he said that. Neil, God. But the mouse thing was just like, he thought that he had the vegans pinned on this. If the vegan thing to do was like, okay, I don't want the mouse in my basement. Let me, entrap the mouse so I can take the mouse somewhere outside and let them go. Right? And in his argument, Well, the mouse is surely going to get killed in a day or two, right? By a predator. So I don't know. Even if he's right, like you're still not hurting anyway. I don't even want to go down stupid Neil deGrasse Tyson's arguments. How would sentient plant aliens view how we treat plants? Yeah. Yeah. How would sentient plant aliens view how we treat non-sentient plants? It was so dumb. Oh my God. And he really thought he was being brilliant. You know, he perks up and he has this way of speaking where, you know, he's used to people thinking he's the smartest person in the room. God, I wish I could talk to him because I feel like not many people see through that rocket scientist bullshit. I see right through it. And I would talk to him just like Militant Vegan is talking to Shawn Baker. Oh, man. Neil deGrasse Tyson, I'm sure you're watching. You know, please come on my channel. And then when that happens, everybody gets your skinny pop.
Like you, who can think rationally into the slaughterhouse and eat you?
Go ahead and try. You can try.
Can I or can I not? Could you stop answering like a stubborn 12-year-old? Can I or can I not send non-rational human
talking to him like a kid.
beings into the slaughterhouse?
No, you cannot.
Okay, now you have a contradiction because you said the ethically significant difference why you would spare humans but not animals is because we can think rationally, but the animals can't. So I might as well kill humans who can't think rationally. You said not, so you have a contradiction here. Do you realize your contradiction?
So what do you think?
Do you realize your contradiction? Yes or no, Shawn?
No, the contradiction is in two different realms. It is the difference between
two different realms.
Yeah.
What realms? Wow, we're entering different realms now, guys. I didn't expect that.
Significant enough to warrant not eating humans.
And I'm asking you for the millionth time in the last 20 minutes, where's the ethically significant difference? So far, you've said liking and usefulness, spare your dog at least. And the second thing.
Wait. That's the difference. Wait, liking and usefulness. Well, I mean, couldn't somebody say I like a cow and the cow is useful? So it really comes back to just you, right, Shawn? Like it's just all about you. You're the center of the universe. And it all revolves around Shawn. Did y'all know that? That we're all just revolving around Shawn Baker? I didn't know that, but that's something we've learned today. Proceed accordingly.
And the second thing was that humans can rationalize, but animals can't. Now you have run into a contradiction here too. So you realize that you cannot hold the position of sending animals to slaughter. Okay. Where is the ethically significant difference that justifies enslaving, raping, and Holocaust?
Something happens here, I think. If I remember correctly, the sure okay. It's like basically saying like, okay, yeah, you're crazy. I'm going to agree with, yeah, you win. This is like a tactic where it's like, I'm no longer taking this seriously. Actually, it's because I'm getting destroyed by this activist. But, you know, now we just have to be like, nah, sure, whatever you say.
Difference is that I believe that humans are significant enoughly different from animals.
Yes, Shawn, I know. That's why I'm here, but you have to tell me what the ethically significant difference is. What is it? Name it. Tell me.
There is an ethical difference between killing a human and an animal.
That's right. So where is the ethically significant difference that
killing a human
is? What is it? Name it. Tell me.
There is an ethical difference.
Significant difference.
Let's try it again. Maybe if we keep backing up, maybe it'll help. What is the ethically significant difference? Yes, there is an ethical difference. That's not an answer to the question, Shawn. Oh man. What is in there? What is it? Pair of headphones on a head. But damn.
What the ethically significant difference is? What is it? Name it. Tell me.
There is an ethical difference between killing a human and an animal. That's
right. So
different.
where's the ethically significant difference that justifies killing and eating the one but not the other? That's the question.
Okay, one is an animal, one is a human.
Right. So that's a circular definition. That's a circular definition.
That is my definition.
Let me once again mirror your logic to help you understand what you're saying right now. The way you use logic here.
No, I know what I'm saying.
You're asking me, Rafaela, you're asking me, Rafaela, why don't black people get to vote in your country? And I say, well, because they're black people. And then you ask me, okay, but why are white people allowed to vote but not black people? And I say, well, because there's an ethically significant difference between white people and black people. The one are white, the other are black. Would you think that that's a sufficient answer? Or would you think, Rafaela, you didn't answer the fucking question, you fucking racist?
No, I think that all humans deserve basically the same,
Shawn,
the same level of consideration, right?
Shawn, that was not the question. Shawn, that was not the question. I asked you if you're trying
to anthropomorphize animals, right? You're trying to turn animals into humans.
Yeah, and you're turning them into fucking hamburgers. So yeah.
You're wearing cow ears on your head like you think you're a cow.
You think you're a doctor just because somebody gave you a medical degree. So why?
Yeah, who gave him a medical degree? That's disturbing. I mean, that's just like Neil deGrasse Tyson getting whatever he got. Oh my God. Like someone had this guy in their class and they were like, yeah, all right. Probably they didn't want to hold him back, like he might take the class again. They're like, Jesus. Someone else's problem now. Just go. D-, get out of here. Ugh.
Do you think that your logic works when it doesn't work when I'm applying it to the realm of skin color, right? Species wasn't even the matter of question here. I was putting in the skin color using exactly your logic, and you see that this is a circular answer, circular definition. I'm asking you for a ethically significant difference between two groups, group A and group B, and you're saying because A is A and B is B. That is not giving an answer. Black people don't get to vote because they're black is not a sufficient logical, it doesn't work. Do you understand that?
Mm-hmm. I do.
So obviously my view is not, whatever my answer isn't sufficient for.
But do you understand what a circular definition, a circular answer here is? Do you understand that logical fallacy?
Well, you're trying to make a hypothetical situation as if humans and animals were the same thing. I disagree.
So are you dodging the question?
She's not doing that, Shawn. She's asking you a very, very easy to understand, very specific question that you seem to not be grasping, even though she's asked it to you, I think now at least 10 times.
Question if you understood that now. I'm just gonna have to think that you are illiterate when it comes to the term of circular definition. You don't understand that, right?
I understand circular logic, but what I will tell you is this is
so you understand that this circular logic, when it comes to thinking about racism,
wait. So he said, oh, look, I understand, but this is a pointless conversation at this point. He's starting to realize now, I mean, he probably realized it about 3 minutes in. He's 25 minutes into this hour-long debate that he is getting wrecked and he needs to get out or at least try to change the subject, but he's getting destroyed. What did I call mine? She made him into tofu. Yeah, because she ate him alive.
Why would it work when it comes to speciesism? It doesn't. You see, this is a fallacy.
Humans and animals are different.
Okay, now once again, let's just say you conceded that a circular definition doesn't work, and you're in fact just dodging the question and making yourself look like a clown. But whatever. Great having a doctor who answers questions of ethical value where it comes to life and death and holocausting with a circular definition. Good on you, Shawn. Congratulations for that. So
let me ask you, hang on, Raphael, can I ask you a question? You say
we're not finished here.
Your name is the Militant Vegan.
Yeah, we're not finished here. Yeah, I would rather spare you the embarrassment of ad hominem me now. So the speciesism part, let's go and say that, okay, they're so different because they have a.
I remember a part of this debate that's coming up about, and by the way, I released some of these videos. I understand that it's better. Like, this is great content, right, by itself. I have to pause every now and then and make a comment. Otherwise, it's not a reaction video, guys. Some people were saying about when I talked over Victorious Vegans protests, they were like, yeah, you need to stop talking. Well, the video is already out there. So if you just want to watch the video, I linked to it. You don't, but I have to make this a reaction. As I said, there's not a ton I can add to this one, though, other than praise for Rafaela for kicking Shawn's ass and making him look like a little child, even though that's not hard to do. But anyway, I realize not every time I'm pausing is the most insightful moment.
A different species. Is that what you want to say?
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing you could use. Yeah,
okay, let's say I have a little gadget here, and it's my DNA-o-meter. Okay, this is a DNA-o-meter. So I'm gonna use it here now, and it goes beep, and it says, "Oh my God, shit! Rafaela isn't actually a human. She's a reptiloid alien being." I didn't know. You didn't know. Fuck! I'm not a human. It says here. Can you send me to the slaughterhouse now?
I don't think you're a reptinoid.
Can you send me to the? Can you please not dodge? Right? It's so embarrassing, Shawn. Please. Well, can you send me to the slaughterhouse now?
You mean because you made up some silly story about you being a reptile?
Can you send me to the slaughterhouse now, Shawn?
He can't engage with it because there's no good answer. It leads back to you being just completely speciesist. So he's tried species as the trait. The point she's making, if it's not clear, if it was found out I'm not a human, can you then kill me? Which is honestly, like, it's depending on how they classify, that is a possible thing, that you could have a humanoid being, right? That just for some reason did not match up with our strict definition of the word species. Oftentimes, other people I've noticed when they'll debate this, they might bring up like an alien race or something, right? But that's very human-like. Like, so for instance, I've seen Vegan Gains bring up, like, what if like the Klingons, right? The Klingons from Star Trek. They're not a human species, but they're human-like. So can we just kill and eat Klingons? Which I've seen some criticism of when you bring up these hypotheticals, but the hypothetical is meant to test the logical consistency. It doesn't always work in certain situations, but I think in this one, it's really obliterating Shawn right here.
All right, let me ask you a question.
You asked me, I could say, oh my God, it's such a silly hypothetical. You put a bunny on the street and a baby. That doesn't ever happen. It's so silly.
Let me ask you a question.
Why is that grown man asking me such silly questions?
Yeah, see, I think to your question, Felix, do you think he actually grasped how badly he was being destroyed at this point? I kind of feel like he did. And that's why he's like sort of desperately trying to change the subject. But to Carrie's point, like, who knows? Like, who knows what's going through this like guy's head? Not much, we know that. So I don't know. Did he grasp it? I think like what he's enjoying from Shawn Baker's perspective, I think he's got Militant Vegan here with the cute horns thing on, the cow horns, and or bull horn, whatever, you understand what I'm saying. And I think that he thinks that she's coming across crazy because she's raising her voice a lot. So to his like very lacking in critical thinking skills audience, probably, sorry, Shawn Baker's audience, I can only assume. No, let me not do that. Yeah, sure. You guys can think. all right, you guys can think. I think that he thinks that he's winning this based on she's looking crazy, but I think he also realizes he has no answer to her questions, and that's why he's struggling. I saw what he said after he said stupid things to get a reaction. She obliged. Great for views. Definitely was great for views, for sure. I mean, this is great entertainment. Yeah, it's good content for sure.
Should I have done that? Would that have been very intellectually honest when you're testing for logic in a debate? No. If you engage into hypotheticals and I answer them for you, then I beg you, Shawn, use your fucking brain. Use a bit of your intellectual capacity here. Now, I am, beep, not a human being. I'm a reptiloid alien. Can you send me to the slaughterhouse, yes or no?
So...
Yes or no?
Yelling
yes
and
or no?
obscenity
yes or no?
and being
yes
loud
or no?
and screaming.
Yes or
no?
no?
Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes or no, Shawn?
Here's what I would ask you. Okay.
Yes or no? 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 Shawn,
come on,
please.
Shawn.
It's embarrassing. You know, criticizing, tone policing. Oh my God, she's yelling and obscene, blah blah blah. You're literally not engaging in the dialogue. That is embarrassing.
It
Why
is.
are you
It's
not answering
dialogue,
the question?
It's screeching. It's
Okay.
screeching. It's
Beep.
not dialogues.
Beep.
Okay.
Beep.
Okay.
Reptiloid.
Look.
I will quit this.
you
I will
can't
quit this.
turn
I will
yourself
quit
into
this debate. I will
reptilian
quit this.
alien.
I will quit this debate if you're not answering my question. And it's just intellectually dishonest. It just shows
Damn
that you're
right.
running. You've already had 3 contradictions, 1 circular definition, mirroring your logic. That
She could have said her exact words mirroring his tone, and she would have had him by the balls. She gave him the opportunity. I think it's okay, though. You know, it's good content. Yeah. I mean, he can call her unbalanced and unhinged if he wants, but I mean, anybody with a brain, all right, and that's just who we're trying to reach. People with brains can see who's getting wrecked. You know, if you don't have a brain, there's not much we can do for you. So we have to start with the people with brains.
I would also have led and did lead to a contradiction. Now we're at the point of species. Now I'm testing for DNA. I've asked you the question. This was the ethically significant trait that you brought forward in defense of your Holocaust, your fucking slavery of animals. Now be so kind as to answer this question. Would you send me to the slaughterhouse if I were an alien, not a human? Yes or no?
I don't know. You know, that's an interesting question. If you're an actual
I don't
alien
know.
from outer
Would
space,
it be?
I don't know. I might send you to the slaughterhouse. Shawn, really?
Okay, if I were a human, not a human.
That would be. I don't know. I honestly don't know the answer to that. If it were truly true. If you were actually an alien,
let's say it's truly true. What would you base your thought process on when it comes to saying if Raffaella here is food for the masses, or if you can put my arm in your face hole? What would you depend that question on?
Okay, so I guess I'll play along with this sort of.
Awesome, great, Shawn.
All right,
finally, only took 29 minutes.
So if you were an alien, maybe you were an advanced race and you had something valuable for the human.
What would I grade her debate skills for this? 10. This is obliteration. She wrecked him. It is just, this is so lopsided, and that's why it's such good content. It's just so enjoyable to watch. I mean, honestly, you're not going to gain too much intellectually from watching a debate with Shawn Baker other than watching someone wreck him. But yeah, I find this to be a 10 out of 10. What about him? Oh God, 0. What? Like, he didn't show up. He didn't have anything to say. It's a 10 to 0. That's my opinion. What do y'all think? What would y'all grade? What do y'all think about style, substance, all that stuff? We can grade on different things too. So we can say who won the debate. That's obvious. I think we all agree here. How about on the arguments? Like, is she rate her out of 10? Rate her out of 10 on style, and then the same for him. Let's see what we get. What people think. But my opinion, well, I don't want to. I already said it, but I don't want to muddy the poll, the official poll that we're taking.
Human species, maybe you could help us.
I don't.
solve new problems.
No, I don't. I just look great in cow horns. That's all.
So you're saying you're not a human, and you are like, let's say you're like an alien amoeba or a slug from another planet.
I'm just me. I'm just here. Look, alien.
So you can
alien.
talk, and you can talk to me, and we can have a conversation, though, right?
Where I'm just me. I'm just an alien.
Okay. Well, if you present as you do, and you can talk, and you can have a somewhat rational discussion.
She's trying to make it as easy for you as possible, Shawn. I think she did well to sort of simplify it down to the basics so that even you, Shawn, you can get it.
Put the quotes around somewhat.
Yeah. Back to you.
Then I probably would be disinclined to want to eat you, right? Based on what you're able to do right now.
So would it be wrong if somebody? What would it be?
Even though your DNA is slightly different or alien.
Awesome. Yeah.
So again, she's just destroyed him again. He's just contradicted himself again. So he said no. Of course, he's kind of like couching it in personal preference. I would be disinclined to eat you. But, she's sort of nailing him now on species as well. So he's lost on every point.
You are able to do the things you can do that appear very human.
Yeah.
That I would be disinclined to eat you.
Awesome.
Right?
So would it be right if somebody else tried to eat me? Would you defend me, or would it be okay if somebody else said, I want to have an alien burger?
I would probably. Well, I mean, even though, I would probably, if someone were to attack you in front of me, I would try to defend you.
Awesome. Great applause. Right. Shawn Baker is not a psychopath. Thank you so much for
not biting
this bullet. However,
hang on. We got some results in. Preliminary results of the poll. Doggo, 11 out of 10. She's giving us a master class. I agree. I gave her just a 10, but I should have probably gone up to 11. I agree. Carrie, about a 7. That's a pretty good one. I think that's reasonable. Yeah, if you think like stylistically she's coming across a little unhinged, I disagree, but I can see where people would see that, So a 7 I think is good. Minus 984 for him. Are you sure? That's a little high. That's a little high. Carrie, she was never going to change his mind or even get through to him as such. She was really speaking to his audience, who she may have had a good chance with if they didn't all dismiss her as crazy. Possibly. But, again, like anybody with a brain can see what's happening here. If you don't have a brain, we can't reach you anyway. So, I don't know.
It does run you into a little bit of a contradictory problem here, because you said that the species difference is...
Kane says 100, 100, 100. Damn right.
What matters. So since I am not of the human species, Homo sapiens sapiens, that would, following your logic and the elements that you said until now, that the species is the relevant factor, allow other people and you to holocaust me. But you said no. So that's a contradiction. It's a kindness. Thank you so much for defending me and my alien people. But why the cow? The cow suffers just like me. The cow can maybe not rationalize as much, but maybe the cow can rationalize about as much as you. So why would you eat the cow but not me? We can both suffer. We're both kind of alien. We're both different. It's a contradictory thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we've been going on this point for quite a long time here, but I mean,
probably because that's what the whole discussion's about, Shawn. That's probably why you're going on this point for a long time, because it took you 30 minutes to give an answer. And so here we are.
The basic line is a cow is significantly different enough from me that I am comfortable eating it.
Once again, well, he's just gone back over what she already said was just insufficient. He just can't grasp it. He can't get it, because he's only operating, as Carrie said, at a level that's minus 984. If you come to a debate and you give minus 984, you are going to lose badly. And then you're going to keep repeating yourself and make stupid comments. This is a minus 984. I might even go 985 on that.
And that's my justification.
Okay,
now, you may say it's morally wrong or ethically wrong. That's fine. That's your opinion. We're all entitled to our opinions, right?
No, it's your
Shawn,
opinion.
Violence is not an opinion, and violence needs a justification. If a racism comes up and says the black man is so different from me, I can't see myself in them, just like you can't see yourself in a cow. I get that. You can probably see yourself like in a pit bull or whatever. Then that's the same logic. Just because I'm thinking that they're so alien to me, to use that word, that's not a justification to slaughter them if they can still suffer. You know, I'm an alien. I present as a human. Let's say I stand up and suddenly I have like all these squiggly legs and I have tentacles all over the floor. I wouldn't be very much like you and the humans that you know. Is it then okay to slaughter me? I'm not very similar to you and your family.
I like that she's making that point. Like, now you're sort of saying, I wouldn't kill and eat you because you can talk and you're rational and you're similar enough to me. But what if I had like these squiggly tentacles or something? Would it be then okay if she stood up?
Family, am I?
So an alien with tentacles.
So he's mocking the hypothetical now again. Again, this is just a very, very common tactic when you can't answer the hypothetical, is to mock the hypothetical if it's so far out there. It's just like people just don't grasp this, that the hypothetical is there to test your logic. Okay.
Okay, you can still talk and have a conversation and think and that type of stuff. Is that right?
Yeah, I can still suffer. That's the important part, you know? Imagine I couldn't talk. Imagine like you were having this
Doggo. Look, my screen's glitching. Otherwise, I'd be putting your guys' comments up on the screen. That would have gone up on the screen, Doggo. I'll read it. The cow can rationalize about as much as you can. That went right over his head. Trying to learn to master not reacting like her, Carrie. I don't know. I love it. I love the righteous indignation. Why? I don't get it. I love it. I love it. She's clowning him. She's treating him like he's a 2-year-old, a toddler. Well, like a toddler who can't think, I guess. I don't know. I just love it. It's so good. That's just me, though.
This conversation. I was just accidentally hit some buttons and I accidentally tapped myself into the Carnivore podcast, and I am a cognitively disabled alien but I still suffer. I still go like, Shawn, and I can still recognize you. I wag my little tentacle because I'm excited to be with you on this show, and I can suffer. I don't want to be hit.
I also just want to point out that she's like very entertaining too. And I mean, partly this is like to get people to watch and to look at it. So I just I like that she's so animated. I love that there's like a showmanship about her as well. To some, again, to people that think that she's coming across unhinged, are people that are not plugged in anyway. They're not plugging in to the content of the debate. And I think that, so those people are kind of like, they have discluded themselves anyway. Not reacting. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I don't know.
I go when you hit me, just like a human baby would go, but they're excited to see you, like a cow is excited and wants to lick your little hand, and your dogs are excited. Can you then eat me if I'm like this cognitive disabled tentacle alien thing?
Mocking the hypothetical.
I don't know. I honestly don't know the answer.
What? So, you would eat me? You would eat me, Shawn?
She says, I don't know the answer. Again, not everybody's getting it, but she wrecked him. Sorry, I should stop saying that. That word probably comes out there's probably going to be like an automatic subtitles, and the word rectum keeps popping up. She destroyed him.
Shawn, no, I can suffer.
Raphael, do you care to advance this so we can get into a couple other topics, or are we just going to stay on this one?
Yeah, no, I mean, if you say that you would not eat me, then you would once again have a contradiction, because I would be very dissimilar to you. I'm not a human.
Hey, Raphael,
I am not.
look,
No, sorry. I have to sum this up. If you want to go to something else, Shawn, I want to make clear to you that you have.
Yes, there's contradictions. I'm very happy to accept I've made contradictions.
So wait, hang on. I want to say something here, because this is where he thinks that as long as as long as it seems that he's not taking this seriously, then he hasn't lost. Even if he says, okay, yeah, fine, I lost the debate. Whatever, Raphael, sure, you crazy lady, whatever. No, you lost. You lost. He's trying to make it seem like he didn't seriously engage. I mean, obviously, he can't seriously engage really with much of anything. There's not a lot going on there, but he did try to answer her questions. They just flopped. They failed like that. Flopped so badly. So I'm just pointing that. I think she's about to point that out too, but.
If you are making contradictions and you're happy with that, then there is
I'm fine with that.
Shawn,
I'm totally fine with that.
Shawn,
I'm fully fine to be contradictory. I think the significant difference between animals and humans is enough that I'm
Damn it, doggo.
with any contradictions that I made. Okay, let it be clear that if you think you're winning because I made a contradiction in your mind, I'm totally conceding that. Okay,
Shawn,
let's go on to some other points.
Shawn, before we go anywhere else,
before we go anywhere else, it's good. We just need to recognize that that's what the entire debate was. The entire debate was about that, and you conceded. So you lost. As this video title says, Shawn Baker debates vegan, he gets destroyed. You can't laugh. I mean, you can laugh at it, Shawn, but you got destroyed.
I want to make clear the weight of saying I'm fine with my contradictions. If I were to go and be a racist and you showed me, Shawn, it makes it even more embarrassing. Let me explain to you once again the weight. Let me just. Okay. If I am a racist and somebody explains to me that there's no ethically significant difference just because of the skin color, and I go ahead and I whip the black people that I call slaves in front of me, and I say, yeah, I know the skin color doesn't really matter and that they can suffer, but it gives me so much lust and great times to be doing this. I don't care if I'm doing a contradiction. I don't care if I'm an ethical racist bastard to them. I don't care if I'm a murderer. That's the you're in the mental state of a racist rapist abusing other people. These are nothing else but other people in different bodies, just for your satisfaction, for your greed, for your joy. There is no good reason to do this, and not with them. They feel the same.
For just a second, can I make a point for a second? So you pointed to the cow and said this is a person, which I fundamentally disagree with.
Wait. You disagree with that, but she just ran through, named the trait with you, and you couldn't point to any significant difference. All you said was that there was a difference, but you couldn't point to the significant difference. So why do you fundamentally disagree with the cow being a person? Shawn? Hope she challenged. I can't remember how the rest of this goes. I remember he gives her shit about her name, and she wrecks him on. She destroys him on that too.
You don't. Maybe you think cows are people too.
Of course they are.
So forth.
Just like your dogs.
Okay.
Your dogs have interests. They have favorite toys. They have favorite people.
Okay, we have different perspectives. Clearly.
Is a dog a person?
No, a dog is not a person.
What is a dog? A dog is an individual with feelings and interests.
Dog is a dog.
And a human is a human. An individual with feelings and interests, with desires and who can.
This is just far beyond. This guy cannot wrap his head around the idea of a dog being a person. This is just too much for him. Look, he can't even. It's as though he didn't watch any. Doesn't he do like primarily content about being a carnivore and like trying to debunk veganism? So shouldn't he have engaged on some of these topics before? But he can't even. It's like it's new to him. I don't know.
Suffer and is sentient. That is the definition of a person, and there's no reason why we should only call humans persons, but not these other animals.
Hey, Garfield, a bad pun, but we beat this horse to death. Okay, let's go on.
You're the only one who's beating animals to death here. You can. You look, you did the same. No, you did the same thing with James Aspie and Nick, where you said, "Yeah, I can see this is a contradiction," and the boys let you off the hook. I just want to make clear to the whole fucking audience here, if a grown fucking ass man like Shawn Baker here says, "Yeah, I'm running into a contradiction. You're right. I'm fine with that." That is the debate terms for, "You're right. I lost the debate. You're right."
Right. I love that she's doing that. She's like, "Look, we'll let you move on to your dumbass point about being a militant vegan or whatever. But I'm going to hammer this into the ground for 5 minutes that you just conceded the whole debate. The whole reason why we're talking, you couldn't do it. You lost." I mean, honestly, it could just end right here, but this still goes on for another 25 minutes or so.
My ethical standpoint, I cannot.
Look, Raphael, I'm happy to say I lost the debate. I don't really care.
Shawn, that's
I'd like to make some value out of this discussion. Look, Shawn, I'd like to get more of your perspective on other things, if you don't mind.
One more thing. If I concede and I realize I cannot hold my position, and my position is slavery and murder, that I cannot justify what you have just conceded to, what you have just seen your contradiction in, that is what your words mean. That is the weight behind them. And I don't change according to my new information. That is the definition of ignorance and stupidity, of fascism and opportunism.
Okay,
it's
let's
easy to be fine with a situation when you're not the one who's standing at the fucking slaughterhouse, Shawn. Then I can always say, I'm not the one being whipped. I'm fine with this situation. Yeah, I'm a contradictory racist rapist, but who the fuck cares? I'm not the one who's being shot up. It's not my family standing there. You're contributing to the greatest ethical emergency on this planet, to the slavery and the Holocaust of the animals. And you piece of shit, put your arms there and say, yeah, I know, it's a contradiction. Anyways, Raffaella, what's your opinion on your name? Militant. So aggressive. Okay, Shawn, now what's your great next question?
Okay.
Fucking epic. God, what a rant. I love that. I love it. I know some of y'all think that's unhinged. I think it's epic and badass. And look, we are always trying to do the best we can. I do not mind her getting a little riled up and being like, look, you just conceded this fucking debate and I'm gonna tear you a new one. God, I want to watch that again, but I don't want to make y'all watch it again.
I was going to ask you what the reference to militant vegan means. What is that? Why did you choose that name?
Yeah, I call myself militant vegan because non-vegan pieces.
Yeah, it wasn't a rant. She lasered him. I agree. He's probably a lost cause, but hopefully some of his audience. Yeah, he's a lost cause. He wasn't here to do a serious debate, obviously. You've seen it 25 times, Carrie. Yeah, but I mean, we're what are we? How long are we into this one? 38 minutes. So if people made it this far, they're going to listen to that rant. Sorry, the laser-focused takedown. I don't even mind if it's a rant. To me, I'd be at this point in this debate, if this was me, at 35 minutes in, I've had to deal with this clown for more than a half hour, I'd be ranting. I'd have flipped my table. This table right here, oh my God. Yeah. Admirable, because she did better than me. She did better than I would have done, is what I'm saying.
Of crap, we usually refer to vegan activists who raise their voice for the animals, militant and aggressive, even if we aren't as passionate and temperamental as I am from time to time, because they find themselves in a situation just like you, where they cannot defend their ethical position.
Yeah. How many times have y'all been called militant vegans? Constantly. I've been called a militant vegan more times than I can imagine. And oftentimes when I'm just being super chill. Yeah. I mean, I've seen yeah. So she should own it. It's a good name, I think.
So they start to call the vegan names and take them and call them aggressive and extreme, when in fact you are the ones being the only militant here. Militant means going for something using weapons. My weapons are my words. That's pretty much all I'm using.
Okay.
And it gets—
You're playing devil's advocate a bit, Carrie. Actually, it's good. I like that you're throwing some things that I can respond to, and it's good that we kind of have these internal debates too, like, how did this go? Yeah, I think we all agree she's a badass. That doesn't mean we can't critique some of it. I just think this was an epic takedown. I'll critique things when I see them, but I saw a lot to love in this debate. I mean, it's hard to critique a debate where I feel like it was such a lopsided win, So I just can't, like, there's not much I could critique. Also, I'm trying to put myself in her shoes too. Like, for instance, if she gets a little heated, which I think is a good thing, to be honest. But let's say for the sake of argument that it's not a good thing to get heated during debate. I just know I would be 10 times as hot. I don't even know if I'd get it out the same way that she did, but in my head, I'd be fuming. Because I don't like dealing with these kinds of people. Like, stop being so dumb. You know what I mean? I'm talking to Shawn. Just use that. I know.
It's people so fucking
Raphael,
triggered.
Hang on. Let me interject it. I'm just trying to get out the point that you would not choose to be violent toward other people or anything like that. Is that fair to say?
Well, if you're kicking a dog, then I would push you away. But that's
okay.
extended self-defense.
But I mean, you saying that everyone's an animal abuser is not vegan, so everybody that eats meat, because we all know animals die. I mean, it's not a surprise. No adult doesn't understand that animals are dying to eat meat. We all know that.
But still, you do it. That makes you a terrible adult, right?
Well, I mean, that's in a matter of opinion. I mean,
well,
I think it's something
most people don't think about it. That's my opinion. So yeah, like, I'll just go back in my shoes when I was like in my early 30s and 20s and all prior to going vegan. I don't think I was a terrible person, but I was doing a terrible thing. I just didn't really know it. I just didn't really think about it. Yeah, I knew that animals died, but I never thought about it. It's just something that I hadn't even really internalized, conceptualized, or anything. That's why I feel like the films like Earthlings are so powerful, because then it's there in front of you. You can't unsee it. You can't undo what you've learned, nor would you want to, I don't think. And so, yeah, it takes that. But like this guy, he's now debated with 3 awesome activists, and he still can't rationalize. Like, I don't know. I'm not even going to try to diagnose what's going wrong with that guy. We already know it's something really bad, but she's doing awesome.
Yeah, that's my opinion. Wouldn't you think that people who torture and enslave others for the sake of tradition and taste are bad people?
Sorry. I meant to highlight also that quote that Felix made about this not being her first language as well. So she's also kicking his ass in her second language, and she's obviously very English proficient. So it's not like she's good at English, but still, like, I mean, that's another layer of how bright and sharp she is. And look, it's kind of like an American thing. Like, I feel like it's in America, like most Americans, like myself, we know one language, a lot of us. But I think in like a lot of parts of the world, especially Europe, a lot of Europeans, I think, are bilingual. I know a lot of places in Asia, people are bilingual. But anyway, yeah, that's a great point, Felix, that she's kicking his ass in her second language. If, for all I know, she knows like 3, 4, 7 languages.
Well, I mean, it depends what your definition is.
Well, I asked you for your definition.
Let's look. I eat a lot of cows. You're wearing a cow hat. I appreciate that. I've been to cattle ranches. I've been to feed yards. I've been to a slaughterhouse. I actually, as a physician, as a combat trauma surgeon, saw a lot of human suffering and death firsthand, right in front of my face. Right, I lived that. I experienced it.
Jesus, if only I were a doctor too and would have lived through that too.
Right.
Wow.
Well, let me finish my point for a second here, because you've been obviously talking.
So she's a doctor as well.
Most of the time. So, I mean, I think it is important that we realize, that there are clear differences here. When you say that every human on the planet outside of the 1% to 2% that is vegan is a murderer and a rapist and an animal abuser, and you'd like to do violence upon them, perhaps, and I'm not sure if you're actually.
I didn't say that.
You would, because
I didn't say that.
Okay. Well, you said you would. If someone was kicking a dog, you stop. That's what just for the record. But
wait, Shawn, you said you would stop someone from hurting an animal? Welcome to the movement, my friend.
Think that I'm doing violence on animals because I've discussed merely because of the fact that I eat a steak for dinner, then that would be a definition of worthy to do violence upon, or is it not? Would you say it's okay for me to eat a steak, or would you just, if I was there actually physically slaughtering the animal? Or what about a hunter? A hunter's out in the wood, he shoots a deer. Is that person worthy of you attacking them because they're hurting that animal?
So worthy of and wishing it would happen to them. If you dislike someone and somebody is torturing part of your family, then you certainly don't wish them to win the lottery, right? If somebody would treat
no, I mean, would you be willing to do violence or have violence done upon
I don't see how that would help the victims at all. Like I said,
it might stop.
Yeah, like I said, in a situation where this would be happening right in front of my face, where you would be kicking a cow to go into the slaughterhouse.
I mean, kicking a cow. I mean, honestly, I think, maybe you've watched too many vegan activist films, but I mean, ranchers aren't kicking cows on a routine basis.
Yeah, they are. Yes, they are, though. Because, for one, like, cows don't want to go into a slaughterhouse. They need to be shoved in. So if they're not kicking them, they're hitting them, or they're putting their hands all over them. Look, call it what you want, Shawn. This happens. It's regular. It's not one video. Okay. It's not like people bring this up to me a lot when I recommend a film like Earthlings or Dominion, that they're like, oh, they found some bad farms. Dude, go and watch the hours and hours and hours and hundreds and thousands of hours of footage for yourself. It's out there. You can go watch it. You can just watch. I don't know. I've seen too much of this shit. Too much. I mean, kicking a cow would be like the least harmful thing that we're doing to the cow. We're killing the cow. Shawn, you understand?
Cows aren't happily going into the slaughter chambers, are they? They don't want to be in confined dark spaces, so you have to push them in there. So that's just a lie. The cows are not happy when you take away their child on average. The cows do not want to go onto the trucks where they're crammed in, where they look out with their sad little cow eyes, crying tears. The cows don't want to go down the slaughter chamber. The cows actually move their head when you put a...
When I was in Korea, I took a photo of this cow who was crying and hiding under the other cow. So it was on this truck, and the cow was so terrified that they were cowering like that. Maybe I'll attach it, or I don't know. But yeah, I mean, then there's just tons of footage of look at a bobby calf and how cute they are and how they look like little deer. In fact, so I believe the cover of Dominion, right, I believe is a bobby calf, if I'm remembering correctly. And I think I remember suggesting it to someone, and they were like, oh, is this right? The one with the deer? They look like little baby deer, almost like Bambi. You know? So yeah, they're adorable. And I mean, cows have these big, expressive eyes, you know? Eyes are like the window to the soul, you know? It's so powerful to like lock eyes with an animal.
Bolt gun on their head, even though they don't understand the situation. It's nothing comfortable for them. So even if it's not kicking, it's pushing, it's using electrocution, it's violence, it's cutting throats open, it's pushing.
Listen, I don't disagree
the pigs
that an
are
animal
not
does not
going
wanna
into
die.
the gas chambers because they want to go there.
Right. So if you're going to make this point about kicking cows, you know, she's brought up all these horrific things that happen that are exactly part of the process. Not even the abuse, like the abuses that the farm would rather the public not see, that their out of control worker did to an animal because they're stressed out or whatever, or they don't care about the animal and they view them like an object. We're talking just about what has to happen for that cow to end up in your face hole, as she very astutely puts it. Felix, the whole point of films like Dominion is that it's standard industry practice, not exceptions. Exactly. We make a point at AV Cubes to point out that this is what people actually support with their money. Right. And I mean, yeah, so it's the whole point. It's like we were reacting to Chris Hines the other day, the last reaction stream I did, and he had gone on this farm with a ton of activists. It was badass. And it was a red tractor approved farm. And they're like, why did you do the red tractor one? Oh, and also in this same report, we're gonna highlight that you found dead piglets. Oh, but BBC can't. BBC is pulling a Shawn Baker and can't think. Yeah, it was red tractor approved, and they found dead piglets in there. You know? So that's supposed to be the best. Red Tractor, I think, is like the UK version of like, I don't know, like humane welfare approved or some bullshit. I don't know. It's like RSPCA in over there or USDA over here or whatever.
Can we have a discussion, or is it just going to be you shouting the whole time?
Yeah, I answered your question. So would I stop someone?
Let me give you. Yeah. Do you care to hear my perspective, or just
you asked me a question? You said some things that were simply false, like nobody is kicking cows, and then I begged to differ, and I showed you a couple of examples where, of course, animals are suffering, where of course they're treated like slaves, like commodities, because no animal wants to be in these industries where you put them in. No animal wants to be.
Let me hang on.
Wants to be meals.
Let me just show you, just maybe enlighten you a little bit, maybe. So if we look at like ruminant animal.
Hang on. Let's all be prepared to be enlightened now by Shawn Baker. This is going to be good.
Like cows, deers, and things like that. If we look at, for instance, the domestic cattle in the United States. So a cow born in captivity or enslavement, as however you want to call it, in the United States, has about a 98% chance of making it to adulthood, where it will be probably killed about the age of 2, typically, maybe 3 years if it's grass finished, right? Now, when you compare that to wild ruminant animals, they've done studies on this. University of Pennsylvania did a study on that, looking at white-tailed deer. And they found that about 56% of white-tailed deer never make it to 32 weeks because they are viciously attacked and destroyed by predators. They are frozen to, they starve to death. They get injuries and die. So let me ask you, what would they rather choose? Would a baby deer rather choose to live to 2 years old and then be instantly killed, or would it?
Wow, this is what he's asking. So he's saying, would a deer choose to be in a factory farm, or let's even grant him the nice farm? A deer would choose to be not free, pinned up, unable to leave, have all the things that happen to them, and let's say so it's a deer, so they'd be used for meat, for venison, right? And so it would just be, they'd be raised up and killed. There'd probably have to be all these kinds of processes so that it happens in an efficient way. So would a deer choose that, or to be in the wild? I'm not saying bad things don't happen in the wild, but would a deer choose? And irregardless of whether or not you answer this one way or the other, these cows exist because we force ourselves upon them. Are a mother or a female cow, a cow, to make her produce babies. So again, like, these animals wouldn't even exist. You understand that, Shawn? Let's see. Red Tractor certified standards are not much higher than the legal requirement. Right, Kane. I imagine that. Gary asking Felix, do you worry about doing cubes and getting violence? I never have. I know you're asking Felix, so Felix can answer, but I used to do cubes too, and I never worried about violence at cubes. It's happened. Like, some people get, a little bit, can get belligerent depending on where you are, especially, like, say you're in a place where they're drinking or something. But I've never had anything too bad happen at a cube. All right, Carrie, you got to clean. Thanks for coming, Carrie. It's good feedback on all these videos.
I'd rather be viciously mauled and just ripped apart by a bear at 12 weeks. What do you think is the better decision? If you're speaking for the animal, what would that animal decide?
Once again, I can say I will answer your question. However, this is once again a false dichotomy, because you wouldn't open up that line of questioning when it comes to shooting and eating wild humans or shooting and eating wild dogs. You would not. There are wild human tribes. Okay. They probably don't live as long as we do, because we have hygiene, we have vaccination, we have medical supplies. That's no reason to go and shoot wild living human tribes, is it? It's the more a reason to use our responsibility as the technologically advanced species to protect the weaker ones, and not a justification to go and slaughter them to our satisfaction all the time. So, but of course, I
just want to pause and say that she answered his question way better than I did.
Can concede and give you this point and say, yeah, if I were to choose, would I rather have a great life in freedom and human protection and then be shot and probably suffer way less in the death than a wild animal does throughout their life? Yes, but that is not the dichotomy that we are facing. We can actually help animals in the wild, not shoot them up, get it to a point where animal rights violations are minimized, and in the same space, not systematically breed more life, more suffering, more animals as slaves, and also shoot them up and create more animal rights violations that way. So that is, like I said, not the question that we are facing in everyday life. You can literally be a vegan from now on, Shawn Baker, and you're simply choosing not to because yum yum, taste, I want to eat cow butt.
Do you think, let me ask you a question. Why do you think meat tastes good to most humans?
Why do you think fast food tastes good to most humans? You're probably running the line of reason.
She's so good. She's got a quick answer for all this stuff.
Right now, we are environmentally, traditionally, we have evolved that way. It's perfect nutrition for us. All right. So if I find a food that tastes great, most toddlers like chocolate, that doesn't mean it's good for them. However, let's say it even has health benefits.
Let me ask you,
it's too bad that he didn't let her finish, because she was gonna say, what if, she was gonna bring it back to humans probably. And be like, what if it was really good for us to eat meat? Then would that be the justification to kill and eat the human?
How do you determine what a wild animal eats?
How do I determine? I look at their diet.
She doesn't determine what a wild animal eats. Why is he asking that?
Very tracked. And
did I miss something? Sorry.
I look at their nutritional needs, and yes, I can also feed cats a vegan plant-based diet. No, that does not mean that they only get carrot sticks and salad leaves. That would be animal abuse. But there's actually nutritionally fortified vegan cat and dog food that gives them all the nutrients. Now, let's say you want to run down the line of reasoning right now that we are not 100% what's herbivore. I'm gonna give you that. We are not. We have like a weird mush system of carnivorous traits and non-carnivorous traits. I'm not gonna stand here and be the spiritual vegan of every piece of meat is gonna make you sick and we are herbivores. Sorry, you run into the wrong militant vegan if you wanted me like this on the podcast. I'm not gonna give you this line of reasoning to.
I agree with that, but I do think that meat is just bad for us. That doesn't mean like eating like one piece of meat is gonna kill you, but yeah, but I don't think it's good for us.
Attack me here. We have the opportunity to be as healthy. I'm not even gonna say healthier as some vegans do. With a plant-based diet, we can
I will. You'll be healthier on a plant-based diet.
grow all muscles that we need on a plant-based diet. There are vegan sports experts and whatever. And even if it were the case that we would be 10% less healthy on a vegan.
Let me pause that though. You would be a healthier vegan if you weren't like me, eating popcorn and Reese's chocolate plant-based cups, and I'm gonna eat some more Beyond Burgers after this. And hey, they're better now. They use the avocado oil. All I'm saying is like you could be really healthy, but I think she's smart to make the point. I'm just saying you can be as healthy for the sake of this argument. But if you do a vegan diet right, veganism is not a diet. If you do a plant-based diet correctly with the whole foods plant-based, you will be healthier.
Diet, we wouldn't justify slaughtering and holocausting a certain kind of human group just to be 10% healthier. My health is not a justification to systematically enslave others. That is just not, and it's just what you're doing with animals. But then again, like I said, we probably don't even have a detriment of health choosing a vegan diet. So we're really just doing it out of 4 reasons: tradition, habit, convenience, and taste. And none of these 4 reasons is a justification for your murder and slavery, Shawn.
So there are many, 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 many thousands and thousands. I've met many of them. Ex-vegans.
Anecdotal claims.
They thought they were ethically similar to you, had similar beliefs to you. They got sick enough that they were suffering. And I see people sick and suffering every day as a physician. Yeah. And by including animal products back in their diet, it brought them health.
Yeah, I could say the same thing. You know, Shawn, I, as a physician, I saw many. Pardon? I
don't think you're a physician. Are you a physician?
I am a physician. I am a physician. Yes. I studied medicine in Munich, and I worked as a medical doctor for 2.5 years.
Why did he assume? That was weird, kind of like he assumed that she wasn't. He didn't know. I didn't know until I watched this debate, but he was like, "You're not a physician." That was weird, kind of. Was it? Yeah. I guess he just has this bias in his mind, like, she's a vegan activist or animal rights activist. She must not have a job, or didn't have a job, or had no schooling. I don't know.
Years, and now I am an animal rights activist. So yeah, I, as a physician,
what was your specialty?
I worked for 1.5 years in general medicine and heart and lung, and then we did in
pulmonologist.
No, in Austria and Germany, it's called innere Medizin. So it's a combination of gastrointestinal, heart, and lung, everything inside.
Internal medicine.
Yeah, medicine. It's sorry, I don't know the English terms. And it's you have like a double residency when you first start. You have to run through all of this again, and then I did pathology for 8 months. So I wanted to be. I wanted to start
Why did you abandon that?
Oops, Shawn, is she really schooled? And damn, he's a doctor too, a physician. I wonder if she lost her medical license. Like, wait, did he? Let's look it up. Someone said something like that. Is that this guy? It popped up. Let's see. Sorry, I know this isn't that interesting. I don't want to say the wrong thing, though. Anyway, it's neither here nor there. Let's see. I'm on Reddit, which is not a great place to get information, probably. I think it was reinstated or something. Anyway, I don't know that for a fact, but I've heard people say it. So let me just clear the air on that.
because I thought that my my impact as a doctor and in this totally fucked up medical system that you're also criticizing, but from the wrong angle, just to point that out here, is not as good and is not as effective, even to help humans, than it is when I help the most urgent Holocaust, the most urgent ethical, terrible position that we have when it comes to the animal rights violations on this planet. So I realized when I was a doctor, just like you, suffering, we all suffer. It's terrible, no matter the age, no matter the skin color. And I saw the same suffering, just like you probably do with your dogs, if you would be honest here. They suffer when they get sick.
My dogs are happy.
I wonder if she's trying to actually appeal to him right now to make change in him, because I assume that she came into this thinking, I'm talking to his audience. I'm going to clown him and show his audience how ridiculous these points are. But it sounds like now that they're speaking like physician to physician, maybe she's trying to like break through.
But are healthy and happy.
I mean, of course, but if they stub their toe, or if they are hit by a car, or if somebody or if they get a disease, dogs will get sick too, you know? And that suffering is the same suffering that we see in humans. And when I realized, I don't want that anymore. So, but to get back to your claim before, so I can say the same anecdotal thing when it comes to I, as a doctor, saw suffering of people who had heart attacks and strokes. And let's be honest, most people do get that from what they eat. And then they started.
Vegans die of strokes.
They do too, but they do significantly less. Anyways. Let's just say I could make the same anecdotal claim here and say, but then everyone turned a plant-based diet, not vegan. There's a difference between plant-based eating and veganism. Moral stance, diet, veganism, not diet. But it doesn't work. You know, that's not the question.
What do you tell the person who tried veganism for many years, got very sick, and could not recover their health with veganism? What?
Hang on, guys, real quick. I found this article about carnivore diet. Author Dr. Shawn Baker reveals the real reason he lost his medical license. This is from an interview. Let me just read it. Your medical license was revoked in 2017, but that decision was overturned in 2019. What happened, and would you ever go back to medicine? According to this article, he says, I was incredibly naive in my thought of how medicine works. I thought you do the right thing and you're rewarded. What I found out very painfully was that if you're advocating for health and lifestyle and it's impacting the bottom line of the corporation or hospital and they're losing money, they're not interested in that. And that's the whole crux right there. So now I don't want to go back to that. What was the reason for your medical license being revoked? This is going back to like 2015, I think. I was head of orthopedics at a hospital. I was incredibly busy. I was the hospital poster boy. They put me in radio shows. They promoted the hell out of me. I was doing more surgeries. And then I had the audacity to start playing with my own diets and figuring out how it helped me. I'm just going to try to skim a little bit. I do want to just get the right information out there. Sorry. So it sounds like you just... Wait, okay, so he says, guys, I would like to spend, half a day a week just counseling patients on lifestyle stuff. And they said, that's a good thought, but no, we don't want you to do that. To me, that's really strange. So I did it anyway. And then all of a sudden I get this so-called peer review thing, and they basically suspend my ability to practice because hospital peer review is a protected process. You have almost no rights during that process. I could not even see the data. It took 2 years to resolve. Okay. So that's his side of the story on why he lost that license for a period of time. So it sounds like he was, I don't know, and this is just me guessing, but he probably started like trying to get his patients to be a carnivore diet people. I don't know. Is that what happened, Shawn? And that would be kind of a strange thing to do as a doctor, I suppose. So, yeah. Anyway.
What should those people do?
Yeah. So veganism, like I said, is not a diet. It's an ethical decision to not treat animals as commodities, as slaves. Now, in my study of medicine, and in probably yours too, there was not a single disease that I've learned from where it is adamant to eat dead bodies or secretions of animals. There just isn't. Now, there are people, and I'm going to give you that too, who don't flourish on a whole food plant-based diet, who have allergies. And like with all people, when they have some kind of allergies or nutritional, I don't know, maybe a part of their gut has been taken out, then they have more problems digesting fiber. We need solutions for these people. We need to help them.
What should we do? What should we do now?
Just like with cancer, more? Just like very ill cancer patients cannot digest foods very well. They can't either. And we have
well, this is a good question. He says, well, what should we do for those people? So we should sacrifice a bunch of animals for them? Instead of finding better solutions, we should just, you know, as we mentioned, like how beautiful some of the cows can be. Like, should we just kill little Bambi-looking creatures, kill Bambi to feed them? Is that what we should do for these sort of, you know, fringe cases, which you're not, by the way?
Food drinks, we have protein drinks, we have allergy foods. I know severely allergic people who still understand that no matter how many allergies I have and how many problems I have digesting, I cannot go into your house, Shawn, and shoot up your dog and eat his leg, because this dog has a right to his leg and to his body just as much as any human does, just as much as you do. Just because I lose an arm, I cannot cut off your arm. We have to help these people. We have to find solutions. And there are many solutions. Like I said, there is most people who said, I tried vegan, it didn't work. They did not actually look into solutions. They didn't look into what suddenly caused them headaches. There are many reasons for that. They didn't look into what caused them weight loss, etc., etc.
Well, also, I mean, you can be vegan and get a tummy ache. All right, it's fine. We get ailments too. Just like, remember when you ate meat, sometimes you had a stomach ache. It happens. But it doesn't mean you go killing animals.
There are fat vegans, there are thin vegans.
Why should it be so complicated though? Why should nutrition be so darn hard? And
we are sadly in a society that is overloaded with all kinds of fast food, and the default of the society isn't healthy. So anyone who grows up in this society sadly has to look very strongly at what they put into your body, just like you do. Like, it's not the default to just eat steak like you do. So obviously it's also hard for you, as you say. You can't run with the default.
I mean, how many foods do you need to eat to stay healthy? How many?
It doesn't matter how many I have to eat. I have to get nutrition. That's the whole thing. Like,
how many foods do you eat? I like that question. I don't count my, how many foods? Chat, how many foods do you eat a day?
You need to get all the nutrition, just like cats and dogs need to get nutrition, but you can get it from a plant-based diet. Now, if I can get all nutrition from a plant-based diet, and like I said, animals, there's no significant difference to them. There's no fucking justification to cut them up. And even if there were the problem, it wouldn't be a justification.
Hey, Raphael, I certainly can see there are successful vegan bodybuilders that you can construct a plant-based diet so you can put on muscle, that you can be healthy. You add enough leucine in there. You can do that. Not everybody's successful at that, unfortunately.
Not everybody's successful at being healthy.
Right. And not everybody's successful at any diet. I mean, look around, Shawn.
As a non-vegan either.
I wish it were the case that we could all eat vegan chocolate cake and be super healthy. That would be great. That would be
That's not about eating vegan chocolate cake. It's about not using animals as slaves.
That'd be kind of cool. That'd be pretty cool if that were the case, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, we can.
I know. I probably do need mods at some point. You want a mod? I'm going to give you the power, Kane. You're my mod now. Just don't take it as a responsibility. You have no responsibility to be a moderator. But you're now modded, Kane. Carrie, I would give that to as well. But Carrie has to mod on all these channels, and she takes it as a huge responsibility. So she feels like this is where Carrie can relax. But you too, Kane, you can relax. You have no responsibility to mod. My channel is not big enough for that. I see we had someone join the chat to spread his helpful stuff. That Al Capone, thank you. That was very helpful to this discussion. I did not acknowledge what you had to say because I was busy with something, but thank you. Now Kane has the power to do with you as he will.
Probably do that for everyone. It just depends on what you put in the cake, because you can either make a cake batter very fatty and very processed, or you can actually make a cake batter from fucking vegetables and put in a little bit of cocoa powder. Look, like I said, we have to find solutions for these 1% of 1% of people who seriously have digestive issues, whose guts have been taken out because of, I don't know, some kind of ulcerative disease like Crohn's or colitis ulcerosa, or have a lot of allergies.
Crohn's disease is, you know, that there's 3 million Americans.
Yes, I'm not saying that it's. I'm not saying that it would be easy for every single person, but eating generally isn't easy for every single person, and we have medical systems for that. We have health.
I would say it should be easy for Shawn Baker, but he hasn't had trouble with some very, very basic questions, so maybe it wouldn't be super easy for him.
For that. Now we can help these people not use animals as slaves, but we have to, as people who don't have problems with that, first of all, set the moral baseline of fucking veganism, and then we will find solutions for that. But I cannot eat black people because some white people are sick, can I? So why can I eat cows because some white people and black people are sick?
Let me give you, hang on a second. Let me give you a second. I want to just put another thing. I'd love to hear your responses, because, you know, I eat animals. I know what's on my plate. I know an animal died for that. Now, obviously, you probably know that throughout much of agriculture, there's a lot of sentient creatures that are being killed to harvest crops, to due to the pesticides that are sprayed and utilized through. So your diet, maybe you're specifically, you're very conscious, but the average person eating a non-animal
Thanks for joining as always.
is going to be exposed to a whole lot of death in the food.
Doggo, I might game later. I don't know. I really should do some reading, but I do have this samurai game that looks pretty badass. I want to play. I probably should read, though. I don't know. But if you wake up and you're like, damn it, is there any content happening right now? You might find me.
I mean, we allow bug parts per million in their food, so we're killing things regardless. You know, I mean, that how do you justify that? What is your thought on that?
So what's the argument?
You know, we kill like 4 quadrillion insects every year to plant crops in the United States alone. 4 quadrillion.
Don't go
which
there.
is a holocaust.
I know you like saying big numbers. You're doing great. What's the argument that the total amount of deaths is going up when we eat a plant-based diet over a non-plant-based diet? Like I said.
Yeah, most of the crops are being planted to feed to the animals.
Depends on how it's done. I mean, like I said, if you did a diet where there were no pesticides and herbicides used, and you just killed one large animal, you would be responsible for less death.
But not even if you use pesticides. Can you formulate
even if it's less, even if it's more? So you're saying some's okay, but 10% more
Shawn,
is not okay,
Shawn,
right?
I didn't say anything until now. I asked you a question to formulate your argument, how the total amount of deaths is going up when we eat food that has even been sprayed with pesticides on that.
Yeah, but you couldn't answer that one, could you, Shawn? She did. She's right. She asked you a question, but because you rambled so much, I forgot. I had even forgotten she asked that question because, Jesus, you had just kept blabbing out of that face hole of yours.
That field. You already had a very embarrassing run-in with the Nutrivore and James Aspie when you came upon that question. And you also...
Doggo, it's like this 2D side scroller. It's like, samurai game. What is it called? Sorry. Trek to Yomi. Trek to Yomi is the game. I haven't played it before.
You conceded to the contradiction at the end of the day, so you really want to go down the whole route
don't
of,
lose sleep.
oh, you kill animals too?
Hey, Raphael, I apologize. We're running out. We only have like 2 minutes left. I really do have to go. I'm sorry. Hey, I'll tell you what. thank you for coming on. I appreciate your perspective. I appreciate your passion. I disagree, obviously.
No, you don't. You
changed my
said it's a
mind, but-
contradiction, so you don't disagree.
Yeah, you
don't.
agree.
Well,
You
look
You
at
conceded.
conceded that I was right, that you cannot defend your position. You are just not taking the consequence from that, because that's the definition of ignorance and stupidity, realizing new information, conceding that you're living in a contradiction that's violent in the Holocaust, and not changing your matters. Everybody, Shawn Baker is part of the biggest
what
Holocaust
should
on this
be,
planet,
Raphael,
and
if
says
I'm
that
not
it's a
willing to change-
contradiction.
Raphael, if I'm not willing to change, what should be done with me?
Yeah, you should. It should be illegal what you're doing, and you should be treated the same way that humans. That if you were eating and holocausting humans, you should be put in jail. You should be taught to be a better human being. Of course.
So you're advocating, because I'm not willing to change my position, I should be jailed and maybe
Yes.
executed or something like
No,
that.
no, I'm not for death penalty. I'm not for death penalty at all.
But maybe imprisonment, right?
Yeah, you should definitely be in prison to stop you
Get
from
in
violating the
jail.
rights of other people. Just like if I were to
I
do the same
mean,
thing with
is she
humans or
wrong?
these alien beings that I described to you before, you cannot run around and stuffing their bodies into your face holes. That should be illegal. You should be in jail, and I will be the reason for that being illegal. Speciesism has to end. It's just like racism towards animals. Not being vegan is not okay, and Shawn Baker is an animal abuser.
Okay. Very
Boom.
good. Thank you.
Mic drop.
So I'm sure part of your motivation was to just get more publicity for what you do, and I'm happy to give that to you. So where do people go to find out more about the Militant Vegan? Where can they find you? You want to share your social media, perhaps?
Yeah, of course. I do activism to reach more people with my activism. That's the definition of activism. Hi, I'm Raffaella. I am the Militant Vegan. You can find me in German on Die Militante Veganerin, where I have over 500,000 followers on TikTok. In English, I'm starting now. I'm the.militant.vegan on TikTok. Find me on YouTube as The Militant Vegan. I've been on Vegan Gains podcast a couple of times too. Please be vegan, not an animal abuser. Not being vegan is not okay. Greetings from Germany.
Let's get that again.
On TikTok.
Guys.
In English, I'm starting now. I'm the.militant.vegan on TikTok. Find me on YouTube as The Militant Vegan. I've been on Vegan Gains podcast a couple of times.
Guys, go sub to the Militant Vegan. I know there's just a handful of people in here, and she's massive. So I know it sounds, I don't know how it sounds when someone with such a teeny little channel like mine is like, yeah, go sub. But I just, even if it's one person subs to Militant Vegan that wasn't sub, that's cool. So sub to Militant Vegan. She's amazing. This debate was fun to react to, and she annihilated. I'm sorry, Shawn. She annihilated you. And you know it. You know it. You conceded the debate. You tried to do it in a way that absolved you of actually losing the debate because you tried to make her sound crazy. But Shawn, don't bring minus 984 next time. Is that what it was? Minus 984. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into this stream. Kane, Doggo, Carrie, Felix. You guys rock. Who else was here? Al Capone. Hey, thanks for your invaluable contribution to the chat. That was, something that we all needed. And shout out to you. And Shawn, thanks for joining. I'm sure you were here, right? Thank you, Shawn. And thank you, Neil deGrasse Tyson, for also popping in. Appreciate you as well. Yeah. Come on my channel. Either one of you two. Shawn Baker. I won't do as well as Militant Vegan did, but I will give you a piece of my mind. And Neil deGrasse Tyson, same thing. All right, like I said, I might game here in a little while. So you guys, if you interested in that kind of content, check it out. Might be fun. I'm not sure. That'll probably be in like an hour if I do it, because I got to get some food too. All right, good night, people. Thank you.